What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, another day, another dollar. We're gonna be breaking down our 30-minute time frame. Then we're gonna look at our daily time frame because some things have changed. Sellers are still just pushing this market. It's hasn't been the best tempo, but they've been pushing and grinding. Today, I did not take a single trade. Wasn't my type of day, believe it or not. Nothing really interested me. Whole lot of chop for a long period of time, and then finally we get a price spike late in the evening that created a very small, very small set of single prints that we held late in the day in M period. But we go out today with today's high, today's low, one set of single prints, afternoon rally high, and don't think our point of control is too wide. I have to zoom in here. Let's see. Our point of control here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have a 10 wide point of control here. So we'll mark that as well. But today's high, today's low, 10 wide point of control, very small set of single prints, afternoon rally high. We ended up just kind of grinding the lower, or rather liquidating early on in the day after yesterday's short rally, short covering rally. And it was very short lived as we filled the set of single prints. If I pull up my destinations here, you'll see all the destinations that we had that we marked in yesterday's video and how we took back most of those destinations. We had an afternoon pullback low that we could have leaned against from K period yesterday. We opened below that, pushed up, couldn't get back to that 10 wide point of control from yesterday, which was an area that was an upside destination at the point since we opened below, right? If you remember in yesterday's video, I was discussing how buyers wanted to see us open above the price probe and continue to grind higher because there was nothing but room to the upside. I was saying your upside targets would have been like 45.25 and then 45.44, right? Nothing was stopping these buyers if they truly wanted to get going to the upside. However, we had a very wacky overnight session. Majority of the overnight session was basically yesterday's range. Let's see. It was very wacky. We had a very large point of control up here, and then it liquidated down into the lows of yesterday. But essentially, overnight session was all over the place. It was up, down, middle, all around. But we ended up opening below the price probe, so that got rejected. Buyers didn't have that anymore. We opened below the 10 wide point of control. You wanted to see us open above the afternoon pullback low and open above the single prints to consider us being bullish. You definitely wanted to open up above 44.83 because this whole area from 83 to 45.07 is the upper distribution, and the very least you want to be as a buyer is in the upper distribution. However, we rejected out of it, so we pushed down, filled that set of single prints, got into the lower distribution from yesterday, being that lower distribution being from 78.50 down to 44.69. So once we got through those set of single prints and filled it, and like in yesterday's video I was discussing how if we couldn't take out the day's high, we opened up above or below 44.97, couldn't take out the day's high, we would roll over and potentially fill this set of single prints, as it was something to lean against yesterday for buyers. Today, I said in yesterday's video, I would say today or another date, you would look for these to become a target. You would look for these to fill. So after seeing when we pushed up in the open, we couldn't get back to that 10 wide point of control. Well, your next downside destination was 78.50, where the single prints filled. And then below that was the day's low, which we got rather quickly in the first two time frames of the day. After that, we had a set of single prints, didn't push too much further, held them for a very short period of time, tagged Friday's low, which was our balance low at 59, and then bounced back up, filling that set of single prints, kind of grinded back up. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind and have on, and the reason you want to have things like single prints marked on your chart is so you can identify the range of certain distributions. So we know what the upper distribution was from yesterday because I just said it, right? 4507 to 4483.75 was the upper distribution, a rather large distribution. The lower distribution from yesterday was 7850 to 4469, and it was a rather small distribution. However, once we got back into the previous day's range and pushed up, you could have been looking for an afternoon rally high on the way back, on the grind back up, right? You could have taken a short initially against A's high, also being the upper portion of the lower distribution. I know that sounds confusing, but you could have looked for a short or a sell point anywhere between 44.77 and 44.7850. Anywhere back into the upper distribution, you could have used 83.75 as your out, right? So anywhere back above or back into the upper distribution, you would have gone and targeted the opening and then potentially getting back up to our high day and then potentially the 10Y point of control. We've seen days like that where we've grinded back up and kind of tested back where the open was or near it and then rolled back over. That could have happened today. We could have just kept grinding up, but instead we held within the lower distribution, came back down. Great opportunity to sell there at 78.77 because it was a reversal bar, came back down to the point of control, and then we chopped around in those later time frames, but revisited near the lows to say the least. After that, I don't know how nor why, but Larry, good old Larry, pushed this thing down, took out Friday's low and today's low with very good force. Got that 10Y point of control from the from July 11th, right here at 44.56, and then pushed down into the afternoon pullback low at 44.50.50. And I said those were some downside destinations from yesterday. If this market decided to roll over, we would visit those, and that's exactly what we did. So after tagging both of those, we kind of pushed back up and had a little bit of a short covering rally going into the close. So I know it was a mouthful, and I hope you guys were able to understand and follow along there. Why those nuances like that afternoon rally high against A's high yesterday, because it was the upper portion of the upper distribution, right? Before we rolled over and visited the lows. Great opportunity to catch an afternoon rally high. One of my favorite trades. I am sad that I was not present to take that trade because I would have 110% taken a pretty decent size there at 78, and then used that 83.50 right here or 83.75 as my out. Definitely would have been adding it had we pushed up, and then potentially used that 83 as my out or the opening as my out. 100% would have laid into it. But we ended up rolling over and making new lows on the day. So let's go ahead and mark our destinations. We'll mark them from the bottom up. We have today's low here at 47. 47 is the low. Today's date. 23. There's today's low. I'm not going to mark L's low as a price probe. However, we did spike below C's low here where the single prints fill. They start. Single prints start right here at 58.25. Boom, boom. So just like today, there's something to lean against. Tomorrow, there'll be something to potentially reject or fill. So single print start. What am I doing? I can't type. And then we have where the single prints fill here at 58.50. So we literally hold one tick of single prints, and we've seen that before, right? We've seen one tick of single prints hold before prior to us going back and filling them in. If I'm not mistaken, I think we still have a one tick set of single prints somewhere. I'm not sure where. I'll have to look. So that's where the single prints would fill. So double distribution day, right? The lower distribution being 58.25 to the day's low, 44.47. The upper distribution being from 48 or from 58.50 to 91 upper distribution, right? We have a 10 wide point of control here at 66.25. 66.25, so that will become a magnet as an upside destination. Puck. My brain is not braining today. So you'll want to mark that. Then we have today afternoon rally high. I cannot describe how great of an opportunity that was to get short. I'm so upset that I wasn't here to take that short. Like, oh goodness. Afternoon rally high, 8:15.23. Great short opportunity. So if we get up there tomorrow, we'll see if there are still sellers or if we get above that reference point. And then we have a massive sell tail from 91 all the way down to 78. So this is today's high day, 8:15.23. And then we're going to look at our daily time frame real quick. I need to adjust that. Sorry, 91. All right, so there you have it. So if we open up below the single prints at 58.25, look to take out today's low at 44.47 because the daily is now one time framing down. Your next downside destination is that low of day from July 11th at 44.42. Then 44.38.25, 10 wide point of control will be your next destination. Afternoon pullback low from July 10th, 44.33.50, and then 44.24 low of day from July 10th. So we could easily go and get those if we wanted to, right? If we were to look here, we highlight today's whole range, right? Highlight today's whole range, duplicate it, and move it down. We took all of today's range, right? We could easily go and get that low of day from 43 or from June 28th down here at 43.99.25. Easily could get that. But it would take the same amount of effort that we had today to do such a thing. Now let's look at our larger time frame and then get you guys out of here. I do appreciate it if you made it this far in the video. Please leave a like. If you're new, subscribe. But we got some very interesting events happening here. Let's look at our daily balance. Bring up those destinations. So yesterday's video, I talked about how we just came back into a balance by taking out the previous day's high, stopping the one-time framing down. We put ourselves into what I was calling initially a 3-day balance, right? From 44.50 down to 44.59 was our 3-day balance area, or the range that I was expecting us to chop around in. So expecting us to chop between the 50 and the 20-day moving average, or potentially pushing up to the upper end of our balance, testing that upper end and the 20-day moving average, either getting rejected from it and coming back down lower, or getting above it and filling that gap above. Today we did not see that. Today we seen the exact opposite. We rolled right over and then took back the 50, got below it, and then got below our balance low. We took it out by a pretty good margin, by about 10 points. So we're going to say the daily is down. We're going to give the sellers their due. This has been just kind of a gradual sell-off, hasn't been anything aggressive. So would not be surprised if tomorrow we see some type of inside day and then potentially coming back into another balance. But right now, the daily is one time framing down, so odds favor us setting lower lows and continuing to drift. And like I said, we could easily go and back test this 44.20. We could back test this 4400 level, and that 4400 level, this daily low at 43.99.25 is ultimately going to be a target for me on the downside destination. If we continue to grind lower, we do have this gap down here that could potentially get filled. We have another gap down here, and then you have your 200-day moving average if this market really wanted to sell off and get down to 41.49, where the 200-day moving average is. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it is a potential, and we got to keep our eyes out for it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wear your hard hats on, have them on, ready to go. Keep in mind market context. Use market generated information to better your trades, as we are one time framing down, meaning we're setting lower lows and lower highs on the daily time frame and in our intraday time frame. So this series of lower highs, lower lows continue. We'll see what happens by the end of the week. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.